Hello and welcome back. It's the losers semi-finals. We've got Royal Marines up against Kroganavaccine. Royal Marines consisting of Shiesty. We've got Hollers, Marine and Mista, a really strong outfit, and they're going to apply their trade against Tommy the Krogan, Batchford, Precision Knight, and of course Speed. It's gonna be hot and dangerous, and it's gonna be starting on Oddball Fisher. Not my favorite game type to start on. I've already had words with Great Red Shift, but Wonder Boy, what way is this series going to shake out?
Stinks, doesn't it? It absolutely stinks, this game type, to start things off. But the question for me is, and no disrespect to the Royal Marines, because I think they could certainly give Kroganavaccine a series here. I think it's a case of, for the latter team, Kroganavaccine, I think they need more tournament time. I think they need more game time together. It's a team that was, thrown together, of the third and fourth place teams from last week's tournament. I think the more tournament game time they get together, the more they're going to start, ironing out some of those creases that they've got in their gameplay. We just saw the Royal Marines come off a 3-0 sweep in their previous series, so they'll be full of confidence and full of beans. But I expect, the caliber of player we have on Kroganavaccine shouldn't really be dropping at the losers semi-finals, right? We expect them to be in the top three. And again, I'll reiterate, two of the top four teams merging from last week's tournament on this Kroganavaccine side. So, we're hoping for a close series. I'm not sure it will be, but I think there's, a lot to love about this team. On the other side, the Royal Marines. You've got Marine, who was part of the Europa Halo Nations Cup win last summer. Come on, England. And then, of course, you have the likes of Hollers, who's been around for ages. He was a newbie back when I was competing. And that should tell you how long ago that was. That was in 2014, 13, something like that. So he's been around the block a little while now in the Halo community. Started off as a little Halo 3 online kid. He's really coming to his own, and it's good to see him competing again, towards the tail end of Halo 5. But I think, honestly, I think they've met their match here in the losers semi. I think this is where their run ends, but I would love to be proven wrong.
One thing that we haven't discussed is actually the rise of Tommy the Krogan, who in Season 1 and Season 2, he didn't make the finals that last tournament, which, of course, will be next week. But he's now, barring an absolute capitulation in this tournament, they should have enough to qualify themselves now next week for the finals, and Tommy the Krogan will be able to lock his spot in after being disappointed after Season 1 and Season 2. And how good has he been? We've seen him in the Europa doubles series, and he played extremely well there, and he's now transitioned into the fours game type, and he's really found his feet well here.
Yeah, if he stops getting ninjured, I think we'll be talking a bit more about how good he is of a player. But you're right, he isn't really looked out of place on this Kroganavaccine squad when we think about the type of player that's on this roster. Again, Speed has been to World Championships. Batchford has been to World Championships for free-for-all, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He's certainly won international free-for-alls in the past. Precision Knight, who, again, we've said is a breakout star last season. Not so much this season because, he's a bit more established this time around. So now we're looking to the likes of Tommy to step up, but he hasn't looked out of place. He really has settled in on this Kroganavaccine squad, and hopefully the Flying Finn can continue to produce decent performances that can see them challenge maybe in the next round. But of course, they have to get past the Royal Marines first.
Yeah, and we will be getting the ball rolling, no pun intended, with Oddball Fisher. See what I did there? I did there? Oh, it wasn't. He pulled me up when I said irregardless, and now I'm just lashing out. I'm just trying to irritate him and irk him as much as possible.
Spiteful.
Now, someone that will be looking to maybe follow in the footsteps of the path that has been paved by the likes of Tommy, who's now landed himself on a top 3 roster, with the likes of the Marine and Mista. Mista in particular, who we highlighted once upon a time as being one to watch, and is now starting to find himself towards the mid-table teams. Has he really lived up to expectation for you, or has he started to fall down?
We haven't seen too much of his gameplay. I wouldn't like to comment, but when you look at the type of players that he is teaming with, like we said before, Marine, won the Nations Cup last summer. He was a standout performer, and he's the man we'll be starting off with. When you find yourself on these types of teams, it really says all that needs to be said about your own gameplay. So again, I haven't seen enough of his gameplay personally for me to comment. I think it would be unfair and unjust of me to do so, but I'm looking for him to impress me this series, and I think he's going to need to against this Kroganavaccine team.
Well, the stage is set from now to really take this series by the scruff of its neck as he takes down a player there but trades out his life ultimately. And Tommy the Krogan getting that initial overshield, but it was completely erased and eradicated from his Spartan. And now Precision Knight has himself set up towards this treehouse area, is meeting a little bit of resistance from an enemy across the way as well, but now opting to play that and use that ball, start to squeeze as much and milk as much time out of it as he possibly can. He's got Tommy the Krogan to shield him as well, and they're doing a great job of just squashing any sort of push here.
Yeah, and if I'm Precision, I maybe follow my teammates through to blue here with the ball. Maybe wait to see where the spawn is first. He needs to watch over towards that other platform. Once he sees them jump, this is the time to rotate around into blue. You have Tommy blocking those spawns. I'm not too sure why he's hanging around here, and he's actually leaving himself a bit susceptible to the player top middle, but well, he knows a lot better than I do. The communication on Kroganavaccine clearly on point. His late rotation here might invite some of the spawners up on blue platform, but I've just checked on the free cam. He's good on that situation. He does have a player pushing him early, though. Again, I would have liked to have seen maybe an earlier rotation there, but you know, he's clearly got the call from his team. Marine with a double, make it a triple actually off screen, means that now they can maybe start to chip into this 40-point lead that we've seen Kroganavaccine accrue. We now have, you know, just moments until the next power-ups up on the map.
Yeah, Precision Knight done a great job initially with that ball, opting to get that kill onto the Mista top middle, but then when you've seen Hollers take down two of his teammates and ultimately didn't try and rotate quicker and didn't try and play the ball, really put it in a bad situation. We now see Marine and the Royal Marines start to rack up some time and start to level and chip away at that score and at that lead. Overshield in the chest rather of Fabi's speed, and he's going to use it as a great escape tool and just have that extra shields.
Yeah, this is certainly a way to use the overshield. He's just snatched the ball from red, runs straight across bottom middle, all the way to blue. Said, "Oh, that was your setup? No, sorry, that's our setup now." It's all about staying alive and try and play towards your teammates here. You need to make sure, obviously, you're staying up numerically on the map just to give your team a fighting chance. Like the way he's double dipped here just to get that trade-off against Marine. But it's gone for the stick. The lunge is very generous indeed to Timmy. That's Hollers, and well, the setup is broken. Kroganavaccine, they only have 64 points, but lucky for them, their opponents have less.
Not in a position to play that ball with speed, and now you see Royal Marines start to chip away again at that score, and overshield not for another 40 seconds, maybe 50 seconds, considering the time it would have taken to pop it into your chest. Speed and stuff will have the time on lock for that, and they'll know exactly when it comes up. And we'll see missed it in a gunfight now with his teammate. Can they combine this? They can take down Precision Knight, but he loses his teammate in the shape and form of Shiesty as he falls now in a battle down bottom with speed as well. But Mista does a great job helping his teammate. Killing spree for him as well as he continues to rack up time. I like the way he continues to drop the ball to help his teammates in these gunfights, but unfortunately they're not going to earn points while he does it.
Yeah, that's the problem, and that's one of the good things about the way Kroganavaccine are playing this to try and break the setup, is because, like you said, you put pressure on the ball, it stops him getting time. You know, if he's fighting, he's not racking up those points, but they've done a good job here so far. They've managed to get the Royal Marines back into the game, 20 points down. Next overshield fight is happening as we speak, and it's Tommy, the man from Finland, to scoop that one up. No doubt he'll be scooping up the new ball as well with that extra layer or two of shields. And if I'm Tommy next, I'd start thinking about either dropping off this ball to a teammate, which is what he's done actually, or bring the ball up to the platform where Precision Knight is laying down fire. But instead he is with the overshield, going to cause all the havoc in the world to the players trying to push across top middle, and that, Richie, is a fresh 4 down.
Yeah, it just seemed as though Royal Marines had no real presence on the map. They were all taken down, not really pushing as a unit, not staying cohesive, and down goes Marine again in a 1v1, a solo fight with the overshield player. Hollers, though, gets a trade on the other side, as does Shiesty now. Make that 2 kills for Shiesty. That's a double, and that will be Tommy left alive by himself. They've got that information. They've taken him down. Great job from Royal Marines. Hollers and Speed trade out with the Fists of Fury there, knocking back and forth, and now they should get the ball and start scoring, which they are, but ahead by 94 points to 55 at the moment. Kroganavaccine.
Yeah, just not watching enough of the pushes here, because I mean, you just get them 4 down if you're Royal Marines. You need to make sure you have a guy watching, well, exactly where Precision Knight is here, watching that lower push from bottom middle, and also the jump across from the opposite side platform. I mean, you can sit in one position and watch that one push from those pretty much 3 doorways. Instead, I believe it was Precision Knight himself who was able to push through underneath and break the entire setup just from a bit of a lapse in concentration there. Marine in a fight here against Speed, who has been quiet so far this game 1, but I tell you what, he hasn't really needed to put up a magical performance so far because his team are very well oiled. The rotations have been on point, and well, Marine's the last alive momentarily, so has to give up the ball. New overshield's coming up soon as well.
He has been taken down as well as Marine shots were put into him, so they're going to have that information of where that last player is. Now Speed has a flank on Mista, has no idea, he's right behind him. Speed gets that kill, but 3 members of Kroganavaccine have fallen. Speed is the last player. I'd like to maybe see him try to get to that ball to play it, but there's just too many members of the opposing team in his face. Hollers has the overshield. Here he is now putting some shots down into Precision Knight, who's positioned himself bottom middle, trying to get a few sneaky shots through the letterbox of that doorway there. But Hollers now slowly creeping his way around to try and help his teammate. But the ball, their pockets have been picked and the ball's been played here, Harry.
Yeah, you said you would have liked to have seen Speed maybe push for that ball to be played. It has now been played, but I think the reason he was waiting was to see if that overshield from Hollers would have pushed through bottom middle and maybe could have gotten some cheap damage away onto him and made the push a little bit easier for his teammates. But instead, they are just relying on their pure brute force. I mean, look at that. 3 players on blue platform. As soon as that call comes in from Precision Knight, the ball carrier Batchford just needs to sit inside of middle. He doesn't even need to move because there's no way those 3 players from platform can put any damage down. They see the spawns now. It's just a matter of time until this one is going to be 1-0 to Kroganavaccine.
Just to add to frustrations, Batchford lifts up with the ball, only needing 1 second. Precision Knight is positioned in somewhat of a spot that he can maybe pick that up and get that final second as a grenade hits him, takes him down to half shields as well. 2 members of Royal Marines do fall though. The ball is on top middle. Last 2 members up there as well, desperately trying to stop them picking up that ball. But is it too little, too late as 2 members fall once again? And if you see Tommy the Krogan get that ball, get that last second, and it's 1-0 in favour of Kroganavaccine. 150 points to 64, and they look good in patches, did Royal Marines, but Kroganavaccine just had a little bit too much game 1.
Yeah, a little bit too much class. And we saw it at the end there from Precision Knight, who ends the game with the most ball time and the most kills in the game completely. The Flying Finn, though, 15 kills, 17 assists. That's a huge amount of damage dropped on the map from him. So a nice position to be in and put yourself in. You know, gets the casters talking about you a little bit. Tommy the Krogan, we see you, buddy. But how good was Precision Knight's mid-range aim there, Richie? I mean, the mid-range aim was like a laser. I mean, helping Speed out on top middle, keeping him alive. That kind of damage dealing on the map is so vital to the playstyle that Kroganavaccine are trying to employ on maps like Fish or Oddball there. I mean, if you can help your teammate at such a range, that just gives you so much confidence when you are the player in Speed's position who knows that Precision Knight is always going to be landing those shots.
Yeah, you can put that trust and that reliability in Precision Knight, knowing that once you put yourself in that position, your teammate will hit more often than not all those shots that needed to back them down. So you don't need to worry as much. You're feeling a little bit more secured with that ball in your hands. You're able to drop it whenever you need to help them out as well. But now we're on to Slayer on Regret, Plasma Caster, over Shield, all the good stuff. We also have that Plasma Pistol position top middle, but it looks like Speed went immediately up to get, and now Marine pops that into his chest, and Speed has that Plasma going. There goes your over Shield, fella. But Speed does lose his life, but fortunately for him, they have got that over Shield player too.
Yeah, really unorthodox start really for both teams. No one's flying from the overshield like we're expecting to see at starts of Regret Slayer games. Almost everyone vying for top control to try and flank the other, and well, it's all got a bit scrappy here, sort of after the start of the game, pushing down low. I would like to see both teams try and get up high now. We know exactly how this game type is played. You see Speed there dwell for just a second. That's to manipulate those spawns over at red. Then the collapse comes in. Watch this kill feed light up in Kroganavaccine's favour. Actually, 3 go in favour of the other team. So Royal Marines actually come off better in that engagement. But it's good to see Speed communicating. He's blocking those spawns, and collapse there almost working out for Kroganavaccine.
Yeah, Speed will do that exact play, and more often than not, it will work out in his favour. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to get within touch and distance to help his teammate, who were essentially in a 3v4 off the rip and weren't able to play their lives long enough for Speed to do any real sort of damage. But speaking of damage, Speed starting to do that now, getting that kill on top middle, but is taken down. That call out came, and Shiesty took him down, faded him to black. He's in the respawn screen now, and now we're on board and looking through the looking glass of Hollers in his helmet, if you will. He puts those shots down. Beautiful little 5 onto Precision Knife, but not aware there's a player behind him and not able to play his life speed. This time takes him down. Tommy the Krogan, position top middle, puts some shots down now onto Marine on Carr. Gets him down to no shields, but ultimately is taken down, but gets that trade nicely done there. 16 kills to 14 to Kroganavaccine.
If you're on the map right now, you're thinking about two different things. One about the overshield popping up in around 10 seconds. The other is thinking about that plasma pistol coming up at top carbine. Speed wins that fight, means he's going to be in a great position to maybe secure that, should it be up any moment. But the reason you're thinking about the plasma pistol, obviously, is because it's the direct counter to the power-up that comes up every 2 minutes at the bottom of the map. Doesn't seem like either team knows exactly the timing on it, and there's actually a bit of a bump of heads there in bottom middle. Tommy the Krogan is able to burn it, so no overshield in play for a second straight power-up rotation. Batchford getting a trade onto Marine. Those two players again butting heads means that now it's time once again to get up top, try and manipulate some spawns and get some kills in your team's favour. Pretty close game though so far, about 3 minutes in.
Indeed it is, and a question I'd like to ask you, Harry, is that with no overshield on the map for the last 2 rotations, who does that favour? Who gets the benefit? Who's the beneficiary of that now that there's been no overshield?
I think as long as you keep it close, it sort of benefits both teams. I mean, right now I'd maybe edge the advantage onto Royal Marines, because off screen Marine has the plasma pistol. You can see Batchford here trapped in this tunnel. This is really probably the worst place on the map to be, because you can't help your teammates out, you can't put damage down, and Batchford quickly realizing means that he's now able to move up to top carbine. There is Marine with the plasma pistol, but Tommy again found in this kind of situation is able to clean up a kill, luckily on Mister, but it's not where you want to be on the map. You want to be around top middle, you want to be at the top tower, you want to be able to assist your teammates long range like we saw from Precisionite on Fisher. But while you're in car tunnel, you can't really do that. So to answer your question, I think both teams will be pretty happy at this point. All it takes is one good play and one team fight won around the overshield, which by the way is coming up in around, I'd say 25 seconds, maybe a little bit later. So just keep an eye on kills in the next 10 or so seconds, because that's going to give you a good idea of which team's going to be in control on the map.
Kroganavaccine, they've just chipped away a little bit of a lead now, up by 4. This game is, however, on a knife's edge, and you have to feel like if one team or another can get away with that overshield, it will spell danger, will put down some points. But unfortunately, at the moment, when it comes to setups for the overshield, both teams just cancel themselves out. And Harry, you've seen something you didn't like there.
I gotta say, Shiesty, did you see Tommy the Krogan there sat top middle? I mean, yeah, you want to help your teammates out. Yeah, if you see a player, you want to try and shoot them. But I mean, you got to think about the overshield there. He's not thinking about the power-up, Tommy. He's sat at the top of the map in his own little world. Like, you just forget about him. Secure bottom middle for your team. And instead, he loses the 1v1, gets turned on by Tommy. And now look at the score swing. This is where things could get very ugly indeed for Royal Marines if they're not very careful.
Royal Marines have done a fantastic job on this map, not really getting themselves caught in a spawn trap, not being done on rotations, and they've kept the game very scrappy. And Kroganavaccine really haven't been punished for being in bad positions on the map. We've seen Backford, we've seen Tommy position themselves bottom car, not really able to put down any sort of damage or able to help or assist their teammates in any way, shape or form, but they're still ahead by 5 kills. So that's got to be scary if you are ultimately Royal Marines, knowing that they're not really putting themselves in the best positions possible, but still ahead by make that 6 kills.
Yeah, only 5 deaths to play with now as Kroganavaccine edge towards that 50-point score limit. Trying to see here, he's in such a delicate situation, needs some decent shots. Unfortunately, doesn't take Tommy down enough, or quickly enough, I should say, to make the most out of that situation. If you get a kill and a bit of damage, maybe the team's able to benefit from your death almost. It sounds counterintuitive, but instead you can see Precisionite in the kill feed lighting things up. Holler's off the respawn now, has to try and again clean up the scraps. You can't allow your teammate to go down here in car tunnel. Tommy wins that fight cleanly, and well, this is the end of the game.
And that's a GG, and we've seen little things like that even towards the latter stages there. We've seen Hollers jump off ring 3, a real power position on the map, and he's soared down to front base to try and get a kill in bottom base, but is ultimately lit up, and he not only does he not get a kill, but he just loses his life in the meantime as well. So little misplays like that has cost him dearly in game 2. but we will be moving over to CTF on Truth. But what have you seen in the stat screen there that has impressed you, Harry?
I mean, what is that? 48 assists out of 50 kills from Kroganavaccine. My maths off there, or does that look right? I mean, that's incredible. Assist column, along with all the kills, obviously everyone breaking double digits is great to see. But Money Mo, what a game from him. Precisionite, 2.2 thousand damage, the most by far on the map. And 18 kills to boot. That man was listening. He had his head on a swivel. And again, it's that short to mid-range aim, man, where he's always got his teammates back and he's almost able to win any fight from any situation, which makes him such a standout performer on this Kroganavaccine team.
One man, though, that had a game to forget. It was Hollers. It was Timmy, 7 and 14. He's gone double negative there with only the 5 assists as well. So least kills, least assists, and most deaths in the game. He's had a game to forget there, Harry, and he'll look to bounce back here in game 2 on CTF Truth.
Yeah, and Truth Flag is, it's a map that Hollers will know well, having competed in previous Halos, obviously. Midship, Heretic, now Truth in Halo 5. It's a great way to bounce back after you've had a poor game, because it's just constant fights all the time. Marine trying to go bottom middle has been, well, sold out by the rest of his team, I would say there. Obviously, you like to see some pressure pushed back on those players trying to take you down. And Royal Marines, they are in a very difficult situation here early on because, well, Speed's bottom middle. Off screen, Tommy the Krogan has the camouflage. And it's all one-way traffic right now for Kroganavaccine as they look to maybe set up a first flag capture here.
All looking Millhouse for Kroganavaccine, but Tommy hasn't seen that player positioned in the Eli as he snuck in towards the camouflage. Just a little bit of a timing issue there, but now Tommy's all alone with the camouflage. Both members of Royal Marines opting not to go down and take that fight, instead bait him upstairs, and he does come up, he accepts that invitation with both hands, snatches the kill, takes the life of Shiesty, and with the combination of him and Batchford have killed Hollers as well. Now Flag's on the move, missed the last player alive, position top middle, 2 members off the respawn gone towards Car, and you've seen Tommy the Krogan, he's still in blue base, they've still got control of that base. We might see back-to-back caps here, Harry.
If I was Tommy, I'd maybe take that fight aggressively and maybe try and do just that, try and go back-to-back. He's instead played it patient, taken them both down instead, waited for the help. The help came eventually, but it might be a little too late here for Precisionite to get this flag far enough to make a back-to-back capture happen. Shiesty and Mister, I believe, combining very well to stop that flag or second flag capture potentially happening. And now you have Kroganavaccine maybe starting to overextend a little bit, but it's working out for them. You see Tommy the Krogan able to get a kill with the flag. Mister's overextending, and yep, Hollers here knows that one's gone. Time to clear out your own base, reset, and maybe try and get some spawners inside your base. But I'm looking on his radar, no one's spawned in the base with him, so right now, Royal Marines very, very susceptible to maybe a triple cap here on capturing the flag Truth before the second flag. The second camouflage has even come up on the map.
Yeah, it's going from bad to worse if you're Royal Marines. You've gotten out of the frying pan, but you've jumped straight into the fire, and that all stemmed from that one little flag pull. Precisionite, when Tommy the Krogan fell, Precisionite opted to take a different route. He brought the flag over towards that P face, and because of that, members of Royal Marines didn't want to drop down and play their lives to return the flag, and that meant the flag stayed alive, and we're seeing now 2-0 in favour of Kroganavaccine, all from that one little route that Precisionite has taken, and maybe a misplay on Royal Marines, just not losing your life, getting that return, sending it back home, off to try and play the flag from their top middle and staying top control. But you see that flag on the move now. On the opposite side, missed the position on P3. Precisionite jumping, soaring out that window, but the flag will be returned for the moment. The Precisionite is in that car area. Normally you don't want to see a player position over there because it does start to block those spawns.
Yeah, you can see the spawners in basement now, and the reason he's pushed over through bubble just like that is because he's gotten a call from his teammates that they're already pushing towards that pink street area. He does get taken down, but yeah, this is all too scrappy for my liking. Batchford trying to pull the flag carbine because Tommy's here, but yeah, this is a difficult flag run to pull off, really, and they've steadied the ship for now, are the Royal Marines, but Kroganavaccine are bringing this amount of pressure. It's so hard to try and even catch a breath. It's like you're gasping for air. A double from Shiesty will put 2 players onto the respawn screen and at least give you a numerical advantage, even for just a moment. But oh, just like that, 3 of the Marines go down. The only man alive is Marine top middle right now, and well, the flags read just as easily as you would like. And now we are back to square one on the map. Camouflage in about 20 seconds, Richie.
There was a difference. You're seeing Shiesty throw that flag out towards that P face, almost in an exact mirror from the opposite cap, and you see immediately Speed and a teammate soar out to get that return. They're putting serious emphasis on that flag. Send it back home. They can't score while it's at home, of course, but flag's on the move now, but missed it, and another player taken down Batchford, and it looks as though this will be a dead flag. This time they have decided to read that flag, so great job from them bouncing back.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a misplay there from Speed. I'm wondering whether or not the nade he threw at top carbine would have blocked those spawns and forced the spawns into basement. If that's what's happened there, then the entire flag run is dead because of a misplaced grenade, which is just, the fine margins that we're dealing with at this level of Halo. The camouflage is burned, so no power up to worry about if you're the Royal Marines, and they have a good idea of what they want to do with this flag here. They have set up on the pink side, but the problem is the long time that you take getting this flag across the pink side with players flying at you, the more time it allows respawners to come through basement like Batchford and also through carbine side. So you almost, if you don't get this flag across the map quick enough, you find yourself on a losing end. You're being pinched from the respawners. So they did just enough there for Kroganavaccine to delay that flag and allow respawners to come through for the pinch. Nice return.
As quick as sometimes it takes your shields to recharge, so quickly somebody can be off the respawn that you've just dealt with, and because of that they were fighting for every single inch there where Royal Marines, but they were met with brute force from Kroganavaccine, and they ultimately got the return in the end. And maybe if they look back at that, they'll see some misplays there and some things they could have done better. But ultimately they still haven't put a flag on the board, and the 2 members down now as well. Speed just sprints out from the bottom base, heads towards that car side, being lit up though from his car door area, trying to help his teammates. But he has a member behind him. It is going to be Shiesty, and he's in a 1v1 now. Opposite back down, realizing he was down in that gunfight momentarily, and helps to re-engage now. But Shiesty is out of there, and he is already gotten that flag over towards that top middle area, and he is taken down to no shields. Great job out of him. But now flag dead for a moment and sent back home.
Yeah, if I'm Precision Eye here, I do just this. I try and fight my way back into my own base. Speed though, spawning in basement. I'd probably considered, again, doing this. Maybe pushing forward into the enemy base once you have numbers. Back at your own flag to stop any rogue pulls that might come in. Maybe you start thinking about pushing forwards and putting the pressure up the other end of the map. And well, the reason this fight is going on over the pink side is because Camouflage was fairly late. Nice double from Precision Eye. No nades to be thrown at cars, so no blocked spawns this time around. Just need to find the players overextending. Batchford's running with the flag, and that, I believe, is 3-0. GG, no re.
That is game, set, and match. Oddball, Fitzger, Slayer, Regret, CTF, Truth. They all go in favour of Kroganavaccine, and Royal Marines, they hassled and they harried and they made it scrappy at times. They looked good in patches, but just didn't have the job. They didn't have in the tank, the smoke to deal with this Kroganavaccine roster, and they are unfortunately going to tumble out here at the losers semi-final stage, and we will be now moving on to the losers finals now, Harry.
Yeah, Precision Eye, by the way. 2.7 thousand damage, 63.9% accuracy. 17 kills, 15 assists. Like, I know I'm just reading numbers just purely because those are great numbers to be reading out at the end of the game, especially on a map like Truth. It's all about damage. And I feel for the Royal Marines. They've done well to get top 4. Is it top 4? Yeah, they must be top 4 if it's losers semis. So congratulations to them. A really good run. It's a shame that we're only jumping on board with them on a series such as this, where they came up against such stiff opposition, because they've had a great run. But good to see Kroganavaccine starting to move up through the gears now, and this is the type of win that will surely galvanize them as they come up against what are they called again? IGIF, something like that.
EGIF,
IGIF, UGIF. We all GIF for
EGIF. GIFs for everybody.
That should be a good series to come in the losers finals.
Well, this is why they initially made those changes to the rosters. That's why we don't see spots, why we don't see Crossman here, is they're going to try and go one better this week and finish top 2. But boy, oh boy, have they got a roster that they're really just going to have to be playing lights out to get the better of. They've got Kimbo, Mose, it's SLG. It's just going to be so tough for them to make that extra step up. I mean, we have Cartel at the tippity top, and then we have got eGIF who just below them, just cannot seem to close the gap. But there's such a drop off. Then we have seen Mocket go the distance sometimes when we had some off days from eGIF, but they're going to have to be playing lights out here, Harry, to go that one further. Do you think?
Yeah, they are. They've already meeting once or met once in the bracket already. It was a 3-0, I do believe. I remember watching the games in the winners semis. For those interested, this is not going to be a continuation series because both of these teams have lost a series in the tournament so far. So the only time you'll see a continuation is in the grand finals once one team has a series advantage, so to speak, over the other. So this is just going to be a straight best of 5, which is exactly how we like it. We don't want to have to doing like mental gymnastics with best of 5s, best of 7s, that kind of thing. Straight best of 5. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a rematch of the winners semis and the right to take on Cartel.
Yeah, so it's who's going to punch their ticket to the grand finals. Only time is going to tell. We're going to take a very, very short break as we have almost all the players involved at the moment. So we'll be back very shortly. Don't go anywhere.